The Vampire Stream. The Vampire Stream. Vampire Stream. What up, Fight World? Your boy Ego. We back on the Vampire Stream on the late night. How's everybody doing this evening on the Vampire Stream? Smash the like button for all my late night owls. You know, I got one more in me. Got a Vampire Stream for y'all. I was just thinking. I like to think. The Vampire Stream. I'm on time at last. Shout out to Luis Rosario on the Vampire Stream. Man, boxing's in a great place. Eddie Hearn. We gotta talk, y'all. Shout out to the livest live stream. Shout out to all of y'all. I see y'all. Ego's on me. We like Nipsey Hussle. We just doing our victory lap. This shit is easy work. This shit is easy work. Listen. Let's just jump right into the content on the Vampire Stream. So, I was just thinking. Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn, what they attempted to do has horribly backfired. And I'm going to explain on the Vampire Stream. Shout out to Michael Woodard. Shmoney Gang, $5 super chat. I'm going to explain why I was thinking about this and just put it all together in perspective for you. Anthony Joshua was considered the #1 heavyweight. He was considered the most popular. You know, he had the look. You know, he looked the part. He was a guy, A-side, you know, all this good stuff. Impressive performances. But as the pressure amounted for Anthony Joshua to face, you know, a Deontay Wilder. So you got to keep in mind, he moved up and fought Klitschko. And people were like, wow, he really, you know, that was a good fight, you know, epic fight. Instant classic, I thought, you know. He you know, turns around the fight. You know, he has to work for it. But he turns it around, knocks Klitschko out. They're supposed to rematch. Klitschko ends up retiring. So it's boom, he's the man. You know, people are like, okay, you can fight Kubrat Pulev. Okay, he pulls out. You fight Carlos Takam. But then people want you as this newfound champion with this legacy fight with 90,000 plus. You know, people think it's on and popping. Nobody expected Joshua to fight Klitschko and then fight Wilder next. You know, you got mandatories. You deserve a middle of the road, stay busy, you know, mandatory type of fight. No problem. Then he got that. After he got that in the Carlos Takam fight, Wilder had been calling him out for at least a year and a half previous to this. I have the videos to prove it. And, you know, it was supposed to be Kubrat Pulev. He pulls out. They replaced it with Carlos Takam. Joshua, coming off the Klitschko performance, I got to say, I expected more. Because I feel like, damn, you just knocked out Klitschko. So, you know, what you learned, that's like, you know, fighting Floyd or something. You just learned a whole shit ton of wealth of knowledge by fighting Klitschko. But then Joshua actually, he didn't look as explosive. He didn't look all that to me in the Carlos Takam fight. You know, it's kind of like Lomachenko Pedraza. He did what he had to do, got it done, but he just didn't look what I expected from after you fight Klitschko, right? But he, you know, he advances. He stays undefeated. After post fight, he says a bunch of stuff. He says he has 3 fights he wants in 2018 between him and Eddie Hearn. Joseph Parker, who was a champion at the time, Deontay Wilder, and Tyson Fury. Fast forward to the future, you fought one of those guys. And it was the guy that most people considered the new, well, not considered, he was the newest champion, but most people considered Joseph Parker the weakest link, the easiest to pick off, because he lacked the most experience. He was the newest of all the champions. He fought for Tyson Fury's vacated title, you know, after they stripped Tyson Fury, etc. And, you know, I think Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua, they got maybe a bit too arrogant, too cocky, too pompous, too prima donna. They thought their shit didn't stink. They thought nothing, like Christopher Walken said in one of my favorite movies, King of New York, nothing goes down unless I'm involved. They thought don't shit move in the heavyweight division if it don't involve them. They thought there was no possible way that anyone could get respectable fights unless they went and, you know, bow down to their demands. But twice now, not once, but twice in 1 year, Deontay Wilder and his team have rebelled against that notion and proved Anthony Joshua and team wrong. And thus begins Team Joshua's plan backfiring. For starters, Wilder stepped up his resume. You know, his resume is not as bad as people made it out to be, but whatever. People had gripes about his resume. He took on the most dangerous non-champion. Fact. You know, a Cuban amateur with 350 plus fights, like 340 wins and 19 losses, something crazy. You know, guy who's 6'4", guy who moves well, southpaw, can counterpunch, can get aggressive, can fight flat-footed, can get on his toes and bounce at his weight, at you know, having a big size and frame. Wilder got a lot of credit because Luis Ortiz failed a drug test for whatever reason. You know, it was later overturned or whatever, and he was able to fight. Wilder still was down to fight him. You know, when Luis Ortiz failed the drug test, you even had idiots blaming, shout out to Sweden, I see y'all. You even had idiots blaming Wilder for the lack of the fight happening. You know, they said, oh, Wilder called VADA and Wilder was scared. You know, you really had people because it was a good fight. You can't blame somebody else for, you know, that's like blaming Golovkin because Canelo failed a drug test. That don't work like that. Anyway, people said Wilder was scared some kind of way. The man fans, right? Wilder knocks out Stavern, the only guy to make it 12 rounds at that point. You know, Tyson Fury just did it. But at that point, the only guy that went 12 rounds with him came back and knocked him out, late replacement. I was at the fight, 1 round, you know. Then people started checking for him even more. I started seeing him with Mark Wahlberg, LL Cool J, Dr. Dre, you know. He had a reality show with his wifey, right? He started to blow up. That knockout went viral. You know, it became meme worthy. Yeah, man. Yeah, up in this thing, 510. You already know. So, you know, Wilder started to bubble. The pot started to sizzle a little bit. Then Wilder, in March, fought Luis Ortiz. He said, fuck it. You know, Luis Ortiz got cleared by the WBC. I still don't need Joshua. I'll take this fight. Even though he failed a drug test, I don't know what that's about. I'm going to fight him. He was in a hellish fight, right, with Luis Ortiz. You know, pretty back and forth, hurt Luis Ortiz in the 5th round. Then he, in turn, got hurt in the 7th round. You know, started looking a little bit fatigued and wilted and swaying and stuff. Bit down like champions do. Knocks out Luis Ortiz. Boom. You know, now you got Luis Ortiz to this day, who's doing interviews, calling out Anthony Joshua, his one-time mandatory, you know, and giving props to Wilder, saying, hey, I respect that man Wilder. You know, he's fighting for his daughter, and I respect him because when I called him out, he answered. You know, Wilder, he didn't do like some of these other guys and call me out and then, you know, vanish. He really, you know, he beat me fair and square. I would like to rematch him, blah, blah, blah. Respect. Or, you know, as my Cubans would say, respetos, right? So Wilder got a lot of credit there. You know, then we thought we were going to get the fight. Joshua fought Joseph Parker. I don't think he looked that great in that fight. You know, Joseph Parker, I think he could have been more offensive, but he didn't really get touched up. He did get hurt. Actually, in fact, later, Dillian White fought Joseph Parker coming off the AJ loss, and Joseph Parker got dropped twice, but it was really once because one shouldn't have counted. But whatever, twice, once, twice in that particular fight by Dillian White, a guy that Anthony Joshua beat, you know. So Dillian White actually hurt Joseph Parker, whereas Joshua went 12 rounds with him, and Joseph Parker broke that knockout streak for Joshua and survived the distance. You know, neither one of them put on like a tour de force performance. So after that point, everybody in the world said, okay, Joshua just unified again. You know, he picked off the weakest champion because of lack of experience, lack of like really solid, super impressive performances. Like I said, name a Joseph Parker performance since he became champion that was just electric. You know, he had Raz Cajano and struggled with him a little bit. Luis Ortiz later fought Raz Cajano and destroyed him in 2 rounds on the Mikey Garcia Robert Easter card. I was there, right? So it makes all the sense in the world for Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua to fight next. You know, the location, flexible. USA, UK. This is for all the marbles. But this is where the plot thickens. Eddie Hearn and Team Joshua, which, you know, it has never been said from them, but we already know what it is. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the actions. You know, Barry Hearn, he's probably one of the key masters that keep giving you keys. Oh, no rush, no rush. Why is everyone so panicked? Oh, Joshua wants to fight him. He'll fight him eventually. He's saying stuff like that. What do you think that's about? Why? Who talks like that if you want to fight someone next? Who says we'll fight him eventually? Stop panicking. We're not going to be told who to fight. You know, people don't say that when they want to fight. Like Luis Ortiz called out Wilder. You know, Wilder responded. You never heard Wilder's team talk about stop panicking. Tell Luis Ortiz's team to stop panicking. We're not going to let somebody tell us what to do. Because Wilder, see, this is why I respect Wilder. Wilder, he may not be the A-side versus Joshua, but he's the A-side to somebody because he's a champion. What I mean is he's the A-side versus really anyone else that he faces besides Joshua, because he's the only other guy in the division with a belt, and he has a respected name, and he has a good knockout ratio, right? We never heard Wilder say, hey, Luis Ortiz, stop panicking. Don't tell us what to do. You know, we never heard Wilder ask for a backdoor or like duck out of the Luis Ortiz fight because of the blood pressure medicine, you know, and then use that as an excuse to not fight him. You know, he actually did it, you know. He said he wanted to fight him even if he was on drugs, but then the WBC was in charge of that and they didn't allow for that. They said we have to do an investigation. Right? I'm not going to recant the whole negotiations, but long story short, an offer was made. They said, you know, Wilder said he wants to fight. Eddie Hearn says, I'm very good with numbers. Here's your offer. It was like $12.5 million flat, no pay-per-view, back-end money, which is bullshit. You know, that's bullshit. Why would he deserve a flat rate for a monumental legacy undisputed fight, you know, something that hasn't been done in the heavyweight division since Lennox Lewis? Why? I mean, how does he deserve that? Their rationale, nobody knows him, you know, playing these little games, asking people in front of New York cafes who Wilder is, you know, all that shit is a dub. That shit is corny, you know. Like, you could do that to anything. Like, see, listen, I don't care about stuff. Me personally, I don't care about stuff like that because that doesn't really mean nothing. You know, that doesn't really mean nothing. You got to ask people who are in the know, you know, basically do a real test. You know, go to a boxing event and ask them if they know who Deontay Wilder is. You get what I'm saying? You can't just go to a bingo hall, you know, somewhere random and ask them, oh, who's Gervonta Davis? Who's Deontay Wilder? You know, they're probably not going to know that type of shit. They playing bingo. You know? So, you know, all that stuff to paint, this is part of the backfire. All that stuff to paint Wilder into be like this unknown, you know, unheralded. And to me, I find it offensive because there's multiple reasons why a 6'7" dark-skinned black man in America is not getting the proper recognition that he deserves. And we all know this. You know, and Eddie Hearn's sitting up here like playing with fire, and you know, people, even boxing fans, are joining in and acting like this is some cool shit. Aha, you're an American and no one knows you. That just goes to show you the fucking problems that we have in America with this society. That, you know, you could be the baddest American heavyweight champion in the world, and you know, people aren't hip to it. You know, for a variety of different reasons. That the media, old media, won't give props to American fighters the same way they do foreign fighters, you know. And you got people up here like celebrating this, you know, celebrate, oh yeah, Wilder, look at these Wilder Fury ticket sales are still left. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they act like this is some cool shit. And some of them are even Americans bragging, they're happy. You know, me, I didn't come in this game to wish bad upon boxing. I really didn't, you know. I want to see this sport grow, thrive. I want these guys to be household names, people to take care of their family. But these other motherfuckers act cynical, you know, like, you know, it's like they want boxing to fail. They want boxing to implode. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being real or, you know, being honest. But these dudes are like self-sabotage. Like, it's like they're sabotage. That's the difference. If something's going to fail, you know, keep it a buck and give your honest opinion. But there's a lot of these situations where these people are hoping and plotting for it to fail. Do you get what I'm saying? That's the difference. You know, like, I have questions about DAZN, but I'm not just out here sabotaging DAZN. I got a Canelo video coming up right now. You know, you guys will see it on the channel by tomorrow morning. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just telling you my honest opinion. I have some questions about it because it's a new platform. But I'm not up here sabotaging it. But you got motherfuckers who actually are praying. They're hoping Wilder Fury doesn't do 1 million. Shit like that. That's, you know, that's crazy. That's cynical, especially if you call yourself a boxing fan. But, you know, I've always been a believer, you know, believer in faith, a believer in karma. And I've always been a person who likes to represent, you know, someone who's getting bullied, somebody who's like underprivileged, somebody who's not being treated equal, you know, and, you know, for lack of, you know, an underdog. That's why, one of the reasons why we started this channel, to make sure everyone gets a fair shake. And they weren't giving that man Wilder a fair shake, nor Tyson Fury for that matter, but definitely weren't giving it to Wilder. And all this shit is coming to pass now, because we're seeing, as time goes on, all this shit that they was doing is backfiring. And a lot of you motherfuckers that rode for this shit, your time is coming too. Your karma is coming too. Believe that. That's not a threat. That's a promise. You'll see what happens to these other channels. I promise you that. You'll see what happens. You'll see the views start dwindling down. They're not going to be, I promise you, they're not going to be able to stay in boxing. You know, they're going to start covering, you know, DJ academic stuff, you know, doing whatever. Stop doing videos altogether. I promise you that, because they weren't keeping it real. They wasn't keeping it all the way funky, and you will see that. You know, they was hoping for boxing to not, you got to be pure. You got to, you know, you got to do something for the right reasons. These dudes were doing it just to, on some tribalism and, you know, gangbanging, treating boxing. Okay, we're going to see now. So, you know, to me, this Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn plan is really, really, you know, is really hurting them right now. It's like their plan is backfiring. For example, remember, what a difference a year makes. Around November, you know, when Jacobs, I think, was fighting after the Wilder fight. Jacobs is fighting in New York. Eddie Hearn was there. And he started asking people on IFL, oh, excuse me, sir, do you know who Deontay Wilder is? Oh, you don't? Okay, thank you. Oh, ma'am, do you know Deontay Wilder? Oh, you don't? Okay, thank you. You know, playing these games. Okay. Now, guess what? since that time, what has happened? Wilder's been seen with Mark Wahlberg, LL Cool J, you know, Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone came to the Wilder Fury fight. You know, you had Joe Rogan with him on the show today. He was on, I can't even think, you know, he was at the Equalizer premiere. I can't even think of everything because it's been so much. He was on that reality show. It's like you was trying so hard to hold that man down. And this is like the rose that grew through the concrete, as Tupac would say. I heard 10 million streamed the fight illegally. That's insane. They need, you know, they got to figure out a way to minimize that. That's crazy. Yeah, James Corden or whatever his name is. Yep, I seen him on that. Yeah, he's just been on everything. And then beyond him just making appearances, guest appearances, he's on Michael Rappaport's show. That's what I'm saying. So you did all of that. You did all that to prove that no one in New York knew him on a random street. But guess what? Michael Rappaport, he's a New Yorker. That's where he originates from. He know who the fuck Wilder is. He just had him on his podcast, which is successful. Joe Rogan had Wilder and Tyson Fury on his podcast. You know, this is the rose. You know, this is what I represent. This is the rose that grew from the concrete. You know what I'm saying? You did all that to suppress the message and suppress the man and oppress him. And, you know, and hopefully hope he failed and prove to, you know, the fans on IFL TV and all this shit that nobody knew who Wilder is. And look, he's busting through, you know, and more importantly, he just had a big fight with Tyson Fury. The second one's only going to get bigger. You know, people know who the fuck he is now. That's what happens when you hate. I'm telling you that you don't really get nowhere from hating like that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of this stuff I knew from the jump. Like, for example, have you noticed Eddie Hearn cares about everybody's numbers but his own? Like, he's mentioning what Broner and Pacquiao will or won't do, or Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia, what they're talking about. Wilder Fury is not going to happen, and it's not going to do 1 million. You get what I'm saying? But what about your number? You know, what about you still have, to this day, have not brought someone to DAZN that is bigger and ready-made for stardom than Golden Boy. Golden Boy did a once and done, and they already brought the biggest new star to DAZN. Like, you already had Anthony Joshua, you know, so naturally he was going to probably be on DAZN. It's not a good look. I'm trying to tell you, all this stuff is backfiring. You guys don't have to take my word for all of it, you know. And the thing is, the crazy thing is, like, it goes deep. It goes deep. It's been happening, but now people are starting to see it more and more and more. You know, like, for example, Eddie Hearn's always talking about, oh, you know, Wilder only did 10,000, even though the number he did was like 12,000 and change, or 14,000 or 17,000. You know, he was doing numbers in the Barclay, then, you know, Eddie Hearn's like, oh, he did 5,000 to 7,000, making it sound like it was minuscule. And that's a lie, because I was at the Stavern fight. And the PR people, I have the email. They sent me an email. They send you like all the fighter quotes and CompuBox and judge scorecard. They email you all that. I got the email from them. And, you know, you have Eddie Hearn talking about it sold, you know, 5,000 tickets, and, you know, then I get the email from the PR people that says something totally different. Then the Luis Ortiz fight did even better. And then the Tyson Fury fight did even better. You did all of this. You did all this to hold someone down, and now it's not working, you know, because Wilder's getting bigger, Tyson Fury's getting bigger, and like I said, it's been going on. Like, you got to look in your own backyard. Eddie Hearn's concerned about everybody's number. Oh, Wilder Fury, it's not going to happen. Okay, it happened. And then he switches it. Oh, Wilder Fury is not going to do this. You know, it didn't sell out. Okay. What about Daniel Jacobs versus Maj Selesky? Did that sell out? You know, did it set any Barclay records? What about Demetrius Andrade versus Walter Katandakwa? Did that sell out in Boston? What about, you know, anything? Daniel Jacobs and Sergey Derevyanchenko. What about Ramon Alvarez and Brandon Rios on the Gerald Big Baby Miller main event? You got Eddie Hearn, who's putting people who aren't even like main event. Like when Gerald Miller, like that's my dude. No disrespect to him, but he hasn't been privy to like the star path yet. You know what I'm saying? Like Eddie Hearn, that's his main event. Gerald Miller's his main event, but when he was fighting on Showtime cards, he was like on the undercard. Do you get what I'm saying? But for Eddie Hearn, because he lacks an American stable, that was a main event for him. But for PBC, because their stable is so deep, Gerald Miller and Gerald Washington, which was a better fight than Bogdan Dinu, that was just somewhere on the undercard. I don't even know if it's the co-feature, but it was just on the undercard. You see what I'm saying? But Eddie Hearn doesn't tell you none of this, you know? He didn't tell you that there was 4,000 people at the Jacobs fight. But he's so concerned with, oh yeah, but Wilder Fury didn't sell out the Staples Center. Listen, I was at the Staples Center. That shit was yanking. That shit was lit. I don't have no reason to lie to y'all. So, you know, it's like really false truths. And, you know, and all the stuff with the Joshua situation, I'm telling y'all going to start seeing it more and more. And you can't suppress the message any longer. That's why I love the truth, because it's going to bust free at some point. You're not going to have it like enchained and captured. You know, now you got Joe Rogan calling AJ out. You know, and I love first of all, I like Joe Rogan. Second of all, I love the fact that Joe Rogan is white. I love it. Thank you for being white, Joe Rogan. I'm so happy that he's white. I'm so happy. Thank you for being white, Joe Rogan. You know why? Because sometimes when somebody white says it, they tend to respect it and look at it different. Do you get what I'm saying? If you're a minority, or if you black and you say something about, you know, a black person, oh yeah, you're just racist. You know, they'll say some bullshit like that, you know, and they'll try to relegate it to like, oh, you're just, you know, you're just being racist, or, you know, you're just supporting. You got Joe Rogan saying the same shit. So now what can you say? Strength in numbers. So you can't just say, oh, the black channels. Okay, Joe Rogan's not black at all, to my knowledge. I mean, we can go on Ancestry.com and see what's bracking, but to my knowledge, he's not black. So they can't even use the same. That's what I'm saying. Everything they've done is coming. You know, TMZ is not black. There might be some black people that work there, but they said the same thing about AJ. They're like, I don't know. Why does he want to fight Wilder? He should have fought Wilder. You know, it's getting ugly out here. It's getting ugly. Yeah, they throw that bloody yank. You know, you're an American. And so I love when people of all creeds and walks, ages, genders speak out. Because now it strengthens the message. Because now you can't just ignore one group like they like to do. You know, like, oh, just the blacks are the only ones that say this about Triple G. You know, when you start having other people speak out and speak the same truth that the blacks or Mexicans or whatever are saying, then you can no longer, you know, you have to start acknowledging the problem. You know, it's just like, let's say one person's complaining at a job about sexual harassment. Hey, Bill Cosby, he sexually harassed me. You know, maybe they try to minimize and sweep under the rug. But if you have like 20, 40 different women, and, you know, women from the past that worked with them, and they're all saying the same thing, now you have to address it. That's what I love about this, you know? So all this stuff is a matter of time. You can only throw out false truths and all that. It's only going to last for so long. Another thing that to me backfired. Deontay Wilder, he stuck to his guns. Every time that he was incessantly calling out Anthony Joshua, you know, at first, and I don't even know why it stopped, but at first, Eddie Hearns kept throwing out Dillian White. Oh, fight Dillian White. You got to raise your UK profile. See, none of this shit makes sense anymore. Because guess what? Deontay Wilder still hasn't fought Dillian White to this day. And now Anthony Joshua is likely going to fight him again. And he already beat him. Backfiring. All of this stuff is backfiring. The guy you try to pawn off on Wilder, your own fighter is going to have to rematch him, and he already knocked him out. You know? You try to say, oh, Dillian White, oh, you got to fight the O2 and raise your UK profile. So guess what? Wilder didn't go through Dillian White. He went through another UK fighter in Tyson Fury, who, you know, he'll get more clout, which he is getting. You know, even though some people aren't happy that it was a draw, fighting Tyson Fury did more for Wilder's career. And that's a UK guy. So literally, you go, that's what I was thinking about all this. Step by step, these are all little things, little pieces of the puzzle that have all backfired. The guy you pawned off on Wilder, your fighter is probably going to have to fight him next if he gets past Derek Chisora. Not Wilder. Wilder didn't go through Dillian White. He stuck to his gun and said, I'm not traveling for Dillian White. I want AJ, you know. And if he didn't get AJ, you know, he found another route. And he got him a UK fighter that he knocked out and resurrected and shit in Tyson Fury. That was, you know, lineal champion that he's going to get more credit for fighting, and especially in the rematch if he beats. He didn't have to go through Dillian White. Basically, Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury, they didn't have to play by Anthony Joshua or Eddie Hearn's rules. They didn't. They created their own lane. It's backfiring horribly, you know. Especially look at Tyson Fury. Incredible story, like some Hollywood movie shit, you know, all the way. The weight gain, weight loss, beating Klitschko, then drug addiction and partying and suicidal thoughts, to gaining weight, to losing weight. This is like a movie. It's an emotional roller coaster, right? Taking 2 soft touch tune-ups that don't really prepare you for a guy like Wilder, then doing very good versus Wilder, you know, in the eyes of many, outboxing Wilder, you know, and, you know, being the winner to some, but still scoring a draw when you're supposed to get knocked out, getting knocked out in the 12th and then getting back up to show people that it could be done. This shit is crazy. This is like the worst combination of things that could have happened to Eddie Hearn and Team Joshua. You know, that's why I feel like it's kind of karma if you really think about it, because it's like everything is going wrong for them. You know, same thing with these other YouTube channels that supported all this bullshit. You know, said Wilder was scared and ducking Dillian White and stuff. You look at their numbers, look at their videos, look at their, you know, I'm doing more and I plan on doing more. We're getting channel members, all types of shit. You know, they're doing less if they're even doing this anymore. It's karma, I'm trying to tell y'all. That's what happens when you don't keep it real. But, you know, and it makes Joshua look worse that he let this 6'9" rebellious, outspoken gypsy. See, because the gypsies they're not really like embraced by the UK public. A lot of people don't like gypsies. A lot of people don't like travelers. So in a way, they're similar to minorities over in the UK, because UK doesn't deal with racism in the same vein as, I'm not saying it doesn't happen ever, but it's not the same as in America. We know this. But the gypsies are hated on too. So, you know, in essence, Tyson Fury is kind of like a minority the way the travelers are treated. You know, they're not respected. They're looked at like, they'd be the equivalent to like hillbillies and trailer trash in America. That's what people look at them as. You know, even though it looks like some, you know, I like Fury. So to me, he's all right with me. He seemed like a cool dude. All the people, him and his wife, they all seem cool. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really get the whole traveler thing. Why it's like such a, I don't know. I grew up a military brat, so I'm cool with everybody, you know. But that's just me. Anyway, Jesse Wyatt, $5 super chat. If Wilder Fury to make 80 to 100 mil, AJ gonna go in Hearn office with a bat. Hey, Doug, you gotta chill. He said with a bat and pull an ice cube. He'll be smashing trophies instead of smashing gold records, though. LOL. Hey, you tripping? You're tripping, dog. He said with a bat. But anyway, Tyson Fury, he got AJ looking bad too, because this man defied every known possible odd, from not wanting to be on this planet, being, you know, suicidal, mental health issues, to being out of shape. AJ's never, you know, he's losing some weight, but he's never out of shape. So you let an out of shape dude fight Wilder, lose. Hold on, just hear me out. Just listen to this. AJ is in shape. You know, that's what he's known for. You know, girls like him and all that. In shape, working out and doing neck exercises and stuff. And he's in shape year round. It looks like he eats pretty clean from what I've seen on social media. You let a guy gain 150 pounds, lose 150 plus pounds, and get in the ring before your muscle-bound ass got in the ring with Deontay Wilder. On top of, you know, formerly abusing substances and drugs. I don't know. You know, we just know what he got caught for. If you're suicidal, who knows where you know, what you could have been doing, heroin, you know, you could have been on crystal meth. Who knows? You know, I'm not putting that on Fury because I don't know what he was doing. We just know what he got busted for. But, you know, if you're going to do coke and hardcore shit like that, that's not a gateway drug. That's you already through the gate. You know what I'm saying? So who knows if it was just coke and alcohol. You know, he could have been smoking weed, coke, alcohol, and doing other shit. We don't know. Especially if you're like suicidal and depressed and shit. But whatever. I can't speak on what else he was doing other than what he got caught for. But anyway, you let this man gain 10 stone, 15 stone, whatever it is, lose it, and get in the ring before. And he's about to get in the ring with Wilder again before you've been in the ring once and you're in shape year round. It's not a good look, man. Like, you're an active champ. He wasn't active. You're in shape year round. He wasn't. You know, he was looking mad wild sloppy, you know. And you're the power puncher, and he's not noted as, you know, the biggest heavyweight puncher. All this against him. And when it's all written, more than likely, he will have been in the ring with Wilder 2 times, and you have not been in the ring with him once. And Wilder was initially calling you out, you know. I mean, he called out Fury, but, you know, Fury had all this shit to get together. So, you know, the attention was more so diverted to AJ. That's crazy. And AJ is younger. You gotta look at it. That's shout out to Siege. That's a very good add-on. That's not a good look. That's not a good look. How you let a like let's say I wanted to run a marathon, right? And I kept telling people I want to run a marathon. Like, I'm gonna do the beta breakers, right? I want to run this marathon. I got to just get in like triathlon shape, blah, blah, blah. That's like me letting somebody who had the life of Tyson Fury, drugs, alcohol, staying up late, you know, got kicked out of the sport that was their income. You know, you got to look at that. That's a whole mind fuck for you to beat Klitschko and then go from the best of times to the worst of times. Because I know boxers personally, and if they're not fighting, they got to find some way to keep the lights on. You get what I'm saying? They got to, you know, you have to do something. So Tyson Fury wasn't allowed to fight. I don't know how much money he made with Klitschko, but either way, you know, unless you're doing real estate or doing other things, you're just depleting. You're not getting new paychecks. Listen, you're in the hot seat. Rex says he is a cash cow. He has 3 of the top 50 pay-per-views on Sky Sports. I don't give a fuck. What does that got to do with anything? Please explain. Let me know what him being a cash cow has to do with anything. So if you're a cash cow, you know, what does that mean? You don't got to fight anybody? What does him having top 3 pay-per-views on Sky got to do with anything? See, I'm embarrassing y'all. Y'all want to play these fucking games? I'm embarrassing y'all. I promise you that. Okay, he can keep doing over 1 million pay-per-view without Fury or Wilder. That's the point. So that's good for his career? What are you telling me this for? And he's not, bro. If he, so see, you one of them dumbass fans. I'm just gonna call it like it is. You one of them dumbass fans. You're supporting that. You're saying he could do 1 million pay-per-view without Fury. Okay, so who is he gonna do 1 million for? So okay, let's say he knocks out White again. Who's he gonna do 1 million with? Who's he gonna fight? you know? And even if he did, why would you support that? Like, or why would you be happy about that? So you're happy that he's not fighting the best. Do you get what I'm saying? So Wilder and Fury are running around, you know, saying that I'm 1 and 2, and they're calling out Joshua, and you're happy if he just continues to fight other people to get $1 million. Like, how does that benefit you? I'm not supporting shit, bro. I'm stating facts. Yes, you are, because nobody else is talking like that. You are supporting it. If you're talking about, you listen, I'm bringing up factual things and opinions, and you out of nowhere said he's a cash cow. Nobody gives a shit about a cash cow. You know, dude, you're putting words in my mouth. No, bro, you just said he's a cash cow. Why would you even say that? Why would that even concern you as a boxing fan? You just said, oh yeah, he could fight anyone and do $1 million. Who talks like that unless they support it? Please let me know. Alberto Ramirez Ego, he's saying Joshua will make money regardless of who he fights. He won't get respect if he doesn't fight Fury or Wilder. I get that. But first of all, I don't think that's true. I think the people are going to turn on you. You're not going to. So if people see you're deliberately not fighting the other best, Luis Ortiz, Wilder, and Tyson Fury, and they continue to, you know, be relevant, the heavyweight division is really easy to see what tier each person is on. I promise you that money is going to dry up. Them sales are going to dry up. So in your mind, Canelo's a cash cow. So if all of his DAZN fights are Rocky Fielding level opponents, you think people are still gonna he's gonna still do these crazy numbers? You guys is crazy. Y'all is crazy. Okay, so if Canelo for the rest of his DAZN career, for the next 5 years, next 10 fights, if all he does is fight Rocky Fielding, knowing there's a plethora of good guys at 160 and 168, you honestly think he's going to do great numbers, attendance numbers, and great stream viewership? You guys are full of shit. I'm asking you a question, bro. You're trying to argue with other people because you're trying to get out of it. There is no out of it. Rex. So if Canelo he's a cash cow too. So if his next 10 fights are Rocky Fielding level guys, you know, not top 5 guys. Yep, because block him. Get him out of my chat. I'm not even shooters. Clap Rex. He says Canelo, you don't know shit, bro. He says Canelo for the next 5 years, if Canelo fights Rocky Fielding level dudes, he's trying to say that he can do sellout crowds. These dudes is crazy. And if you knew anything about boxing, there's a lot of people in Mexico that don't even fuck with Canelo because they act like they think he's like a prima donna. So you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. I know people in Mexico. You know, I'm not saying everybody in Mexico don't fuck with Canelo, but you know, a lot of people that live in Mexico, they still live in the struggle. You know, so they relate to guys like Eric Morales, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Marco Antonio Barrera, like guys that you know, seem closer to them. You get what I'm saying? Canelo is like almost seems, I'm not saying this is right. I'm not saying Canelo's not down for La Raza and shit, but Canelo seems more Hollywood to some people in Mexico. I know that. So some people don't even fuck with Canelo like that. You know, they, you know, different cultures and stuff. They resonate with people who they feel like aren't, you know, like put it this way. Not every rapper can be from the hood and then go back to the hood and just be cool. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Meek Mill, he might probably be able to go to Philly still and just be cool because of who he is. You know, but some people probably couldn't just go back to their old hood and just be chilling. Because they're kind of disconnected, you know? I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. But anyway, these dudes, you see it. These dudes be supporting that bullshit. He's saying that Canelo and AJ for the rest of their careers, or, you know, for the next 5 years, could just fight whoever. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. People grow tired of that. Knowing someone's talented and you just fighting whoever. That's like if you're an actor who's on top and you put out the next 8 movies you put out are weak as fuck. You think you're still gonna be the #1 actor? You know, after so long, people are gonna grow tired. Like, damn, he's in these weak ass movies. I'm sick of that. So yeah, I don't believe that at all. And either way, even if that was true, why would you support that? Why would you be happy at that? You get what I'm saying? These dudes is crazy. That's crazy that people would even condone that. Like, they're happy about that. Hold on, yo. But anyway, I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's true. I think people will grow tired of you know, if you're not doing right by the people, they're going to catch on at some point. But the other thing is this is how full of shit these dudes are. Why did a lot of these fans say Mayweather, they hate him? They said he was cherry picking. Do you know what I'm saying? Mayweather, all he does is pick people out of prime and blah, blah, blah. So what was up with this immense hatred for Mayweather if you're okay with, you know, fighting whoever you want no matter what? You know, just because you can or whatever they're talking about. Hey, real brothers out of pocket. This is backfiring though, big time. Now Frank Warren talking about they trying to use the date of Wilder Fury 2. They're trying to use the date Joshua Chisora date. That'll be the ultimate FU. That's crazy. If Wilder and Fury 2 happens on the same night as Joshua Dillian White 2 or Derek Chisora, whatever, that's gonna look horrible, bro. Yeah, Frank Warren ain't playing. That's like real life. That's like some real like mafioso chess move. You know, that's like a real checkmate. Cause you know, undoubtedly you still fuck up your money too a little bit because you're gonna force people to pick. You know, and some people might want to see AJ, but you know, I know the overwhelming response won't be for the smaller fight. And you know how I know that Rex dude that we just blocked is full of shit? Because if that was the case, Joshua was getting a lot of feedback after the Wilder negotiations fell apart. Then how come the Povetkin fight didn't sell out? If people are just going to tolerate it, how come he did better with Carlos Takam, late replacement? How come he sold more tickets for that than he did for Povetkin? If people are just going to settle for whoever you fight. Somebody answer these questions. That's how I know these dudes is full of shit. Why did Alexander Povetkin versus Joshua was a better, you know, fight on paper than Carlos Takam? Because Carlos Takam got knocked out by Povetkin. Yet people were fed up with it. That's why the Povetkin fight didn't sell out. At Wembley. They were at Wembley and they didn't even sell out, you know, and that's closer to where Joshua's from as opposed to Cardiff, Wales, where Takam happened. Principality Stadium or whatever. I'm telling you, all that cash cow shit, y'all gonna see. That's not gonna work, man. Because Wilder and Fury, if they do another classic like they did and make this a trilogy, what is Joshua gonna do? Who's he gonna fight? He gonna just keep picking around Luis Ortiz? You know, let's say Wilder and Fury. You can do it actually either way. No matter who wins the second, you could probably make it a trilogy, to be honest, because some people thought Wilder won the first, some people thought Tyson won the first. So whoever wins the second, you know, if Wilder loses, there's probably going to be at least a rematch clause for him. And if Tyson Fury loses, you know, depending on what type of fight it was, you could still justify a rematch, because some people thought Tyson Fury won the first one. So, you know, I'm telling y'all, a lot of y'all don't think ahead. Who's Joshua gonna fight then? He gonna fight Dillian White and then Kubrat Pulev? Meanwhile, Wilder and Tyson Fury are tied up and, you know, fighting each other. Luis Ortiz is, you know, it's just, I'm telling you, it's not gonna be a good look. Smoke D's, what's up? And meanwhile, people hate on Broner, and he's down to fight anybody. Broner will scrap, no matter what you like. If you like his personality, I don't care. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Broner will scrap with you. You got to give Broner that. Champion, no champion, he don't care. He really don't give a fuck. He will scrap. You know? He said AJ Parker too. Shit, with all these other rematches we're getting from Matchroom, shit, that sounds like a possibility. Or, you know, Joshua, Andy Ruiz, something that, you know, nobody's checking for. Those sick emojis are for channel members. We got the secret society. They're channel members. Yeah, AJ versus Cruiserweight. Whatever. But anyway, I just think it's backfiring, to be honest. This whole thing has been backfiring. You know, they're getting caught up and crossed up with their words. People are losing faith in the, you know. And what's worse is Joshua's not even saying that anymore. Ever since that $50 million deal, Joshua don't even do really interviews unless it's like a media week. Funny how that works. Joshua ain't doing no interviews. He used to be doing all IFL interviews every other week. When's his last IFL interview he did? Not related or attached to a fight week. When's the last? So he used to do seconds out, all that. So when's the last time he did a interview for them not attached to a fight week, like media days or anything? Somebody tell me. I want to watch it. I peeped the game. I studied the game. So please let me know. Damage control? Yeah, because they want to control what comes out of his mouth. Listen, I want to watch the newest AJ exclusive interview. Where can I find that? Somebody give me a date and a YouTube. You know, not like, oh, Povetkin, AJ fight week media day. I'm talking about they linked up with AJ and they got an exclusive. I want to watch it. I want to hear his latest thoughts. Where can I find that? And I don't want to see it after this video. You know, I don't want to see like, because, you know, someone seen the video and then, you know, reached out to him. I'm talking about right now. Before he was in motherfuckers' passenger seat cars with do-rags on doing videos. Remember that? Talking about Povetkin and he wants Wilder and I'm not really worried about Povetkin. He was saying all these things in the passenger seat. Where I need another passenger seat interview. Where can I find it? Where them IFL interviews with AJ? I need that William Hill. Where that William Hill interview? I need that. I want to see that exclusive. I want to hear his latest thoughts. Where that William Hill? Somebody help me. Help me, y'all. Where that exclusive AJ? I want to hear his latest thoughts on camera. I don't want to read about it. I want to watch it. I want to see his face. Not no DAZN kickoff media day, you know, round table and then some exclusive. I want to know, like, when's the last interview? Wilder's doing interviews all around the country and shit. Joe Rogan, you know, he's on that talk show. I mean, he's doing all types of stuff. Even post-fight. The fight's over. and he's still doing interviews. He just did an interview with 78. Just did a Joe Rogan. Where the AJ interview? See? That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, all this stuff is a bad look. And then on top of all of this, you're going to go to Derek Chisora, Dillian White, but you made it your business to not go to the biggest heavyweight fight this year of two guys you allegedly want to fight so bad. This, I'm telling you, this looks horrible. Y'all can say whatever you want. So you could be in America a day or two after the fight for some promo stuff in Portland, which is not far from LA, but you purposely didn't go to Wilder Fury, but I'm to believe that you really want to fight them in April. And you know, you want to fight them so bad, but you won't even support the biggest heavyweight fight. But you're going to be ringside along with Gerald Big Baby Miller for for Chisora White. All right.
So like, if people.
Hey, y'all, can y'all hear me? Hello? Testing. Can y'all hear me? You better find somebody to love. Can y'all hear me? We recording? Damn, Eddie Hearn, he hacked into the mainframe. I don't know what the fuck happened. That man Eddie Hearns hacked into the mainframe, try to kick us off. What?
I'm just ready for the rematch. Like, if people was excited and enjoyed that, just imagine the rematch. You know, this is going to be amazing.
It's going to be incredible. And it puts Anthony Joshua in a terrible situation.
Oh, most
terrible.
Definitely.
He looks awful.
Oh, they begging now.
He looks terrible. He's going to fight some other guy. And no one gives a fuck. And it's like, your titles, whatever titles you got, they're bullshit. Yeah. They don't mean anything. Everybody knows this is where the real title is.
Why Joe Rogan going off like that, though?
Puts Anthony Joshua in a terrible situation.
Listen.
It's going to be incredible. And it puts Anthony Joshua in a terrible situation.
Oh, most
terrible.
Definitely.
He looks awful.
Oh, they begging now.
He looks terrible. He's going to fight some other guy. And no one gives a fuck. And it's like, your titles, whatever.
Hold on. Why is Deontay Wilder laughing like that? He said, this motherfucker Wilder was having too much fun because he knows it's true. And he knows that the big payback. Do. Did you hear how hello? Can y'all hear me? Hello? Did y'all hear how Wilder, he said, this motherfucker Wilder was really laughing, like it was a hearty ass laugh. Listen to that Wilder laugh because he knows what Rogan is saying is true.
Terrible. He looks awful.
Listen.
Incredible. And it puts Anthony Joshua in a terrible situation.
Oh, most
terrible.
Definitely.
He looks awful.
Oh, they begging now.
He looks terrible. He's going to fight some other guy. And no one gives a fuck. And it's like, your titles, whatever titles you got, they're bullshit.
Yeah.
They don't mean anything. Everybody knows this is where the real title is. I mean, it's a wrap now.
Yes. They definitely begging now. He's trying to reach out. All of a sudden now, his management has been, trying to reach out to mines as well. But he could have had this opportunity. He had many opportunities. He could have fought Luis Ortiz.
Yeah.
He could have fought me. He had a chance to fight Fury as well.
They're playing it.
Wow. I'm telling you. That motherfucker laughed like he's 6'7" from the South. That's a 6'7" South laugh. That motherfucker. Yeah. Hey, Wilder, don't knock me out. That laugh was funny though. Hey, bro, I can't wait for. Hey, I can't wait. Where them YouTube channels that every time I make a video, they come back and try to denounce it and smooth it over and cover it up. You got Joe Rogan saying the same thing, bro. That's, you know, what are they going to say? Oh, Joe Rogan, he doesn't know shit about boxing. You know, what are they going to say? That's what I'm saying. It pays to think for yourself. It pays to think for yourself. If you don't think for yourself, you don't map it out and see what sounds legit, what's logical. If you think with your emotion, then, you know, that emotional shit is going to make a fool of you sooner than later. He said playing it safe on the other side of the pond. See, that's what I'm saying. And Joe Rogan has a crazy ass fan base. Like when I was watching it earlier, there was 70,000 people watching almost. Just, hold up, watch. I'm gonna show you. Anthony Joshua with special guest Deontay Wilder. Stay tuned.
I'm just ready for the rematch. Right.
Look, I'm telling you, this motherfucker Rogan got fan base. Look at this. Joe Rogan with Deontay Wilder, 573,000 views. That's what I'm saying. Where them William Hills? I need to hear AJ's response to all this. I need them William Hill interviews. I need that IFL, that Seconds Out interview. I want to hear what Joshua has to say to these things. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, this stuff doesn't look good. This doesn't look good. I don't know, him and Joe Budden be getting hella views too. But either way, you know, Joe Rogan, JRE popping. But anyway, you know, it's crazy, man. So, you know, like I said, where them YouTube channels that be like, oh yeah, I fight Deontay, Bronze Bummer and Beyonce and all that. Why isn't Joe Rogan saying that? Why is he telling his big ass audience what I've been telling y'all? He said Anthony Joshua looks bad. He looks terrible. He looks terrible. I'm just telling you, that's not a good look. See, y'all can't deny it. Y'all can't deny it. I'm a fucking rider. You doing it? I'm telling y'all. So Luis Ortiz is calling. He said Joshua, come out of your cave. He's calling him a chicken, calling him a coward, saying he wants to fight, but he'll never get to fight because AJ don't want no smoke. You know, Wilder's saying they're desperate now. He's been calling him a coward. Tyson Fury says they're not, you know, they didn't want the Wilder fight because he'll get sparked out post-fight. Tyson Fury says, I see why AJ didn't want that because he would have got nailed by that right hand. I see why he didn't want to fight it. Joe Rogan's calling him out. TMZ's calling him out. You know, I just don't. Michael Rappaport. I don't know what y'all gonna do. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be just chilling like normal. But these dudes, that's what happens when you try to. You got it. That's what you have to keep it real. You have to be truthful. The more lies you tell, you're gonna get caught up in that shit. You know, and it was very easy from a pretty early stage to see what was going on here. You know, you got to ask yourself. Joe Rogan, for example, I'm not saying he's like the boxing guru and knows everything, but why is he so comfortable talking about this? And why is his narrative the same as new media? Why is he not saying what them other channels are saying? Like, this is what I'm saying. Why don't, like, just this is why people come over here and fuck with us, because they know we know what we're talking about. Like, for example, I said Lomachenko didn't look superb. He didn't look himself. They get mad at me and new media for saying that, but you have other people, boxers, saying that too. The stuff that they say old media, nobody's corroborate. Name the person with the podcast bigger than Joe Rogan, right? That's not from the UK. Or shit, they could be from the UK. Name somebody with a podcast like, you know, as big as Joe Rogan that's saying, you know, Deontay Wilder is scared and, you know, Joshua had a much greater 2018 than Deontay Wilder. Who's saying that? The stuff that they say. Or Wilder's ducking Dillian White, but he just fought Luis Ortiz. He just fought Tyson Fury 6'9", 6'10", you know, and moves and boxes crazy. Nobody's backing up the stuff that they're saying. Nobody. So, like I said, I try to warn them, but good luck with your channel. Shout out to Jesse Wyatt, $5 super chat. AJ is pulling an MJ, keep reproducing the same shoe fights, but charging more money because fans keep supporting the ripoff. You notice people continued. Like I said, I mean, they can keep fighting Dillian White and stuff, but it's as time goes on, people are gonna grow tired of that. Who wants to see, like in a competitive sport, who wants to see somebody get fights that probably doesn't deserve the fight as much as other people? You know, this is, like I said, this is blowing up in their face for sure, because I know AJ's side didn't expect. See, this is the thing, because with Eddie Hearn, this is what happens when you have that kind of pompous attitude. Eddie Hearn, they believed. Hold on, we got another super chat. Shh, money gang, shh, money. You said you notice people ain't running to the stores no more to buy them like they used to because a lot caught on. You see it starting to happen to Ass Juice, and he's feeling it. Hey, you out of pocket. Shout out to Jesse Wyatt for the super chats. I'm telling you, this only people aren't dumb, you know. People aren't dumb, and people aren't gonna like allow you to abuse them. More, some people will, you know, but more often than not, people, once they get, you know, catch on to like, damn, you know, just like, even look at, like, let's say Frank Warren, and I'm not trying to create, like, I think Eddie Hearn's a good promoter, but you know, sometimes he's radical in what he's saying. But just look at like this. Frank Warren put Carl Frampton versus his mandatory Luke Campbell. Eddie Hearn put on Amir Khan, Phil LaGreco. He just got Amir Khan, and he putting on Amir Khan, Phil LaGreco. Then Amir Khan, Samuel Vargas. For some reason, it looks like there's trouble making Amir Khan, Kell Brook. We have to see how that plays out, you know. And then now Carl Frampton's fighting Josh Warrington. Eddie Hearn's putting on Derek Chisora, Dillian White, a co-feature from a Joshua Eric Molina card 2 years ago that Dillian White already won. And this is supposed to be some kind of big major precursor to the winner getting, you know, AJ in April. So a rematch. Meanwhile, Frank Warren's giving us Carl Frampton and Josh Warrington. And in the same month, he gave us Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. And not too long ago, he tried to give us Billy Joe Saunders versus Demetrius Andrade. This is all fact, but he failed the drug test, so obviously that got canceled, you know. Kell Brook just fought a fucking stripper and didn't even look good in doing it, you know. So it's like people are gonna catch on to this stuff, and y'all paying pay-per-view for this. You know, y'all paying pay-per-view. You are, but I'm not. We don't have to pay pay-per-view for those fights, but y'all in the UK do. So, you know, if you like it, keep paying your, you know, £23 or whatever you got to pay for it. I'm just saying that, you know, that's not gonna, like, that. It's only a matter of time. You know, people are gonna demand more. Like, damn, Luis Ortiz keeps looking good. He keeps impressing. You know, so if you're not gonna fight Wilder Fury, what about him? You know. Like I said, if you know, just hear me out. If AJ knows he's going to have to fight a mandatory in September or something, and it's going to be Kubrat Pulev, from what I read, why would you fight Dillian White in April? Why not fight somebody, if that's your freebie, if that's your bingo free space, why wouldn't it be somebody like at least Gerald Miller, preferably Luis Ortiz? if you can't get Wilder and Fury, which they're rematching most likely, so you probably can't. Why does it have to be the one rematch? It has to be the guy that you already fought and knocked out a couple years ago before you were even a champion. To me, I don't see how that's like. What does that do for Joshua's brand if he beats Dillian White again? You know? He already beat him before he was a champion. You know? So, it just, like I said, none of this stuff to me is like a great look. If you got a freebie fight and you can't fight Wilder Fury because they're rematching, why not fight Luis Ortiz? That's a proper dust-up, as you guys like to say. And like I said, Eddie Hearn's concerned with everybody else's numbers, but we never get to see his numbers. We never get to see, you know, how many people bought tickets in Kansas, Mulvane, Kansas, for Dog Bandinu, who nobody in fucking Kansas has probably heard of, versus Gerald Big Baby Miller. You know, where's the numbers to that? Why can't we find those numbers? Hey, block Robbie. I'm done with these dudes. He said Joshua doesn't need Wilder. Wilder needs him. Block him. I'm not arguing with nobody off something that stupid. I just don't want you on my channel. Bro, you talking that dumb shit. Joshua doesn't need Wilder. That means you're condoning not being undisputed. So that's you. To me, you're not a real boxing fan. So you can go. Do we have any shooters left? Robbie Finnett must leave. Hold on. I guess I'll do it. See, this is the fake ass fans, the shapeshifters, the man fans. This is what they do. They justify it. Wilder needs AJ. All right, we'll see. We'll see. AJ, I mean, Wilder about to make more money with Tyson Fury than they made in the first fight, and is probably going to do better. And, you know, respect goes a long way. What fight do you respect more? If there's a rematch that happens, would you respect Wilder Fury 2 rematch or AJ versus Dillian White if he gets past Derek Chisora? You know. Anyway, I'm done. I'll let these dudes say this stupid shit. At the end of the day, we gonna see. We'll see. It's that simple. We'll see. See, Randy Ridley already told you. He said the public's coming down on AJ hard now. Yeah, but these dudes is in denial. You know, there's only a couple scragglers talking about Wilder needs AJ. He just had an epic instant classic with Tyson Fury. How does he need AJ? If anybody, like I said, you'll see. If AJ's not making the right decisions, then you'll see. So, good luck. We'll see what he decides to do. You know, just like all these situations in boxing. Lomachenko, we'll see. We'll see what he decides to do. Anyway, that's a vampire stream. The vampire stream. Holla at the kid. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll be back later on, you know, with some more heat. I'm just going to watch some Netflix probably. Salute. Smash the like button. AJ looks so whack, right? See, people are going, like I said, but this is what they do. They get more radical when it's coming down hard on them. You know, the man fans get more radical. They know. Joe Rogan just said it. Joe Rogan just said it. Oh man, AJ looks terrible. Let's hear Eddie Hearn's comments on that. What's he gonna say about Joe Rogan? Oh, nobody knows. And see, this is the thing. That just like my platform, I'm not as big as Joe Rogan, but just like my platform, guess what? I'm talking sense. I'm being reasonable. I'm supporting what I'm saying. And guess what? The message is already out. Joe Rogan already said this shit. It's already in the atmosphere. It's already on the airwaves. There's nothing you can do. Almost 600,000 people to this moment have watched that video. So these dudes, that's what I'm saying. These little scragglers, they're trying to get radical. Like, oh yeah, AJ doesn't need him, blah, blah, blah. All right. But, 600,000 people just got a totally different message to what you're saying. So good luck with that. Hopefully people, on your channel with no video uploads, hopefully they believe. You're not going to be able to. I told you, you can't stop new media. We too thick. We are too deep. The message is already out. Like I said, I would not be surprised one bit if Joe Rogan watched the channel, or people on the show or something, because boxing is a small niche community. We big in here, this is YouTube. It's not that big. There's only a couple really big YouTube channels, especially that do what I do, that, mix a mixture of all of it. So, the message is already out. These dudes can keep it's funny. The denial is so funny. I'm loving it. So the guy, AJ doesn't need him. But then you got Joe Rogan telling 600,000 people that AJ looks terrible. He looks so terrible right now. All right. We'll see who they believe. You with no face, no uploaded default picture, or Joe Rogan or Boxingego. Everybody else that's saying this. Dante's Boxing Nation. We'll see. We'll see. I'm telling you, new media, there's nothing you can do. It's just like Lomachenko's performance. Loma's a good fighter, but he didn't look his regular self. I think anybody who's being reasonable can agree that Lomachenko did not dazzle like he normally did. He did good in the 11th round, but he threw a million punches and still didn't stop Pedraza. Tank threw a fraction of that and destroyed Pedraza. So Pedraza could say Lomachenko's a better fighter. That's cool. Artur Spilka said Deontay Wilder has no power. He doesn't really have that power. And he was like looking dead on the mat. So, different people say different things. All I know is when they fought, Pedraza got destroyed by Tank. And when he fought Lomachenko, the guy he's saying is better than him, he did better. He did better. Tank demolished him, and that was a step up for Tank. It's not about triangle theories. That doesn't mean by default Tank absolutely beats Lomachenko. But, if we're looking at the two performance, it's clear as day to see who had a better performance against that guy. Does that mean anything if Loma fights Tank? No, not necessarily. Triangle theories don't work. But these dudes are so spooked of new media that they are afraid to just admit that Lomachenko looked human. He looked vulnerable. His face is tattered up. They won't. They can't even. They'll dislike the video just because this picture. That's why I'm gonna leave it up for a second. I didn't do this to Lomachenko, but they're mad at me. They can't even admit, that's how we know it's just emotional fan. We're not worried about that because we know you're coming from a place of emotion. Lomachenko is a good fighter, but he looked beatable in that fight. If you can't say, does that mean that's, always going to be? No, some people go in the gym and get hard. That moment doesn't have to define him. But these dudes are so obsessed with denial that they won't even say the most basic statements. And then some of the dudes will be mad at me and they're agreeing that Lomachenko did not look, invincible. They were like, oh yeah, it wasn't Loma's best performance, but then we don't disagree on anything. What do we disagree on? That's all I said. But they're mad at me because they know I'm saying it and they think I'm like, I don't know, happy. I don't care. That's his career, I'm just covering what I see. He looked beatable. We'll see what he does next. I can't wait to see who Lomachenko decides to fight next. If this was just a fluke or because of long layoff, then good. He's a unified champion. So let's see him fight another rated top guy, another guy that's, good. Hopefully has a good style for his style. But I'm telling you, and see, this is the other thing these dudes don't understand, bro. I'm calling what I see. Y'all are calling shit you don't see. That's the difference between me and them. I'm telling you what I visibly have seen. So I'm trusting my eyes. You're trusting your heart. That's not going to do you good. Imagine if you were driving in the fog, you know, or you're just driving. I don't know. It doesn't have to be fog. Let's say you're just driving somewhere at night and you're not looking at your GPS phone. You're just going purely off your heart. I feel like I need to make a right here. You know, I think I should go straight right here. That's not going to be a good look. You're better off like turning your phone on, doing the GPS if you really don't know where you're going. But these dudes are so emotional that they just want to go as they, and then when Chocolatito loses, when Sergey Kovalev loses, you know, when so-and-so looks off, they're surprised. But real boxing fans aren't so surprised that that was a possibility because we seen it coming a mile away. You know, Chocolatito. I remember talking to Dante's Boxing Nation. We both covered that fight. It was on the Triple G versus Dominique Wade card. He fought McWilliams Arroyo, a guy who was, I think, moved up in weight, coming off a long layoff. Chocolatito did not look that great in that fight. You know, it was like a tooth and nail type of fight, and he was supposed to blow the guy out, similar to Lomachenko-Pedraza type of thing, you know. And me and Dante were just like, damn, you know, he didn't even really look that great in that fight. Then he fights Carlos Cuadras, and HBO's calling such a biased fight. They're making it look like Chocolatito was handling Carlos Cuadras. And then you had the, you know, the man fans and then the YouTube channels that usually hate black fighters and, you know, certain fighters conveniently. And they were like, yeah, you know, Roman destroyed Carlos Cuadras and he's pound for pound. Don't listen to, you know, those channels and, you know, saying all this bullshit type of shit. And then he fights Sor Rungvisai, loses. It's controversial, they say. He gets knocked down, rematches him again, then he gets bodied. And then they just abandon him. You don't hear anybody talking about Chocolatito breaking Mayweather's record, being pound for pound. You know, we see it coming. But the warning signs were there that his style, he needed to work on certain things to fight the bigger guys. He only moved up like 3 pounds and started struggling. It's because of his style. This is what HBO was giving him credit for. Oh, he's much better than Mayweather because he entertains. All right, yeah, he entertains, but he also gets slept, unlike Mayweather. Mayweather never got slept like that. Especially, Mayweather will beat the fuck out of Sor Rungvisai. Let's just keep it all the way solid. If Mayweather fought Sor Rungvisai at any weight, Sor Rungvisai is getting destroyed. He's too limited. Too limited. Mayweather will beat the fuck out of Sor. And I like Sor Rungvisai, but, you know, come on. That's Pretty Boy Floyd. He'll beat the fuck out of Sor Rungvisai. He don't do enough, you know, like he has power, but he's just, you know, he's like aggression and heart and stuff. Like Mayweather would have him so confused, you know. And the same thing like Lomachenko. I'm not saying Lomachenko is Chocolatito. They're their own fighters. But at the end of the day, Lomachenko, both of his fights at lightweight have looked substantially different than his previous 2 divisions, you know. So we'll see where he goes from here. But, you know, with that fighting style, everyone's making all these other excuses, including Lomachenko, making all these other excuses. Oh, my shoulder, that's the reason I got knocked down. Okay. That's bullshit. You jumping in is why you got knocked down. What does your shoulder have to do with you getting countered as you jumped in? You could have a bad shoulder, a broke arm. That don't have nothing. Do you see what I'm saying? How does Lomachenko, him getting knocked down, had nothing to do with the shoulder? Like if I have a broken leg and I'm walking down the stairs and then I fall, okay, that makes sense. Going down a flight of stairs and my leg is fucked up. But what does a hurt shoulder have to do with you jumping in and getting timed with a shot that sits you down? See, you're already too emotional. You said you act like the fight isn't going to happen. I can't wait to come laugh at your face when AJ, you ain't gonna do shit in my face. That's for starters. You know, you can do some internet shit, but you're not gonna do shit in my face. You know, that's to begin with. And you says to face AJ and he knocks Wilder the fuck out. Bro, it's not about if he knocks Wilder the fuck out, that's what it is. But it has to happen first. You know, it has to happen. You know, you're emotional. You're coming from a beta male emotional standpoint. Aha. Like, see, this was wrong with these dudes. That's what I'm saying. These dudes can never be on my level. These types of dudes, because they're beta males. And it's all about like, aha. I can't wait to come back. How does that hurt me? If Wilder wins, loses, or draws, it doesn't change my life. I just want to see it. I'm a boxing fan. You know, you sit up here try to like call yourself retaliate. You know what I mean? I can't wait to come back. And like I said, you typing it versus we all know that if Wilder knocked AJ the fuck out, you're not going to come back. You know, you're not going to come back and say, hey, I was wrong, ego, because you motherfuckers never do. So stop it. These dudes never come back. You know, they come back under witness protection program, different usernames, different profile pictures, all that. So stop it. You talking about I'm going to come back. These dudes don't come back unless it worked their way. You know, unless what they thought would happen. Anyway, Lomachenko, both of his fights at lightweight have looked considerably harder, you know. And the shoulder, I can understand getting an injury, you know. Let's say that's legit, cool. But what does that have to do with you jumped in and you fought a taller boxer who timed you, who's a good boxer, good with his combination punching from Venezuela, and he sat you down? A shoulder don't really have nothing to do with that. That has something to do with your arrogance, and you jumped in thinking he wasn't fucking with you because you were doing well, and that he got you. Somebody answer, what does Lomachenko having a hurt shoulder have to do with him getting knocked down by Linares? He didn't get knocked down for anything to do with his shoulder. He got knocked down because he jumped in, you know, and he was like, I think his feet were together and he got timed. You know, but once again, it's always an excuse. Man, I wish I had blue eyes, man. I guess if you have blue eyes, you could just say whatever, you know, the excuse, you know, no matter what, people just rock with it. They just rock with it. Let Floyd Mayweather say something. Actually, he did. He said he beat Castillo, right? Said his shoulder was giving him trouble. And they say, bullshit, Castillo destroyed you. You're full of shit. Floyd fights him again the same year, beats Castillo easy. And they say, oh, fuck that. Castillo still beat your ass in the first fight. You know, but Linares gets dropped. Mayweather didn't get dropped by Castillo in either fight. And Castillo looked way bigger than him, more so than Linares, Loma. And, you know, Linares, oh, my shoulder. I mean, Lomachenko, my shoulder. Okay, cool. You handled that, took some time off, had a shoulder surgery. And then you fight another underdog champion. And, you know, you look worse than the Linares. Jose Pedraza, to me, did better than Linares, to be honest. You know, Linares got the knockdown. So your second fight in the new division, second opportunity, and then your face looks mad, busted up, you know, like an old pack of lunch meat. And then now you're saying, oh, this was a new and improved Jose Pedraza. Tank didn't get this version. How you know what Tank got? You weren't even at the fight. How you know what version of Pedraza was? How you know Pedraza didn't have a good camp? How you know Pedraza, you know, you're speculating that Pedraza struggled to make weight. That's, you know, that's excuses. His Tank's fight with Loma, I mean with Pedraza, that really is none of your concern, and you don't really know what he was doing. Why would you be studying his opponent's training camp when you was not even in the, you know, you was fighting whoever you was fighting? Block Robert Finnett. Hold on, I'll do it. I don't think I got any shooters. I don't understand where these dudes are so beta male. He's trying to call me a beta male, but he's mad because I have glasses on. You caring what a man's wearing, that shows more beta tendencies than wearing the glasses. But these dudes, that's what I'm saying. Whatever. Anyway, these dudes agree, but then they act like they don't agree. They act like I'm saying something that's like foreign to them, like that they don't agree with. Lomachenko did not look himself for whatever reason. He just didn't look as sensational. I didn't see all this Matrix stuff, you know. And you could say whatever, oh, this was the new and improved, whatever. The real reason I think it is, the real thing I think it is Lomachenko is not fighting people who are a lot smaller than him. Guys, he's fighting guys that have some momentum, like Nicholas Walters. He got starved at, like, bro, see, y'all don't want to do this with this boxing talk because I really does this. You get what I'm saying? I really do this. And then once I lay everything out, then y'all will say I'm hating, but everything I say is 100% true. But you don't want to go down Lomachenko's whole resume. You really don't. Because we can do it one by one. You know, and then y'all will say I'm hating for telling the truth. So you don't even do that to yourself. Bottom line, for 13 fights, he has a good resume. But there are some provisions. There are some things that should be looked at. Like Nicholas Walters got starved out. He was supposed to fight Loma in the summer, and then they were shortchanging him on the money, or he felt that. So the fight fell apart. And then later in November, the fight happened of that year, and he came back around to the table. And since he had no other fights from Top Rank, he took even less money than he was arguing for in the summer. That's how you know it's desperation. That's why he looked so willing to quit. Speaking of, where the fuck has Nicholas Walters even been? I've never even seen Nicholas Walters again. I literally have never watched a Nicholas Walters fight after that. Has anyone seen a Nicholas Walters fight since Lomachenko? I'm being serious. I can't think of one fight he's had since then. Other guys have been knocked out and came back and stuff. He didn't even get knocked out like that. He got, TKO'd because he quit. But I ain't ever seen him ever again. It's like Golovkin and Dominique Wade. See, that's what I'm saying. These dudes, HBO and ESPN, they be praising and they be having opponents that just, even if they lose, they just disappear. Like never came back ever. Where's Dominique Wade? Where's Nicholas Walters? Nicholas Walters retired in Florida? Are you just saying that being funny, or is that real? Because I literally haven't seen him. But anyway, bottom line is Pedraza had 4 fights this year. He fought on the Crawford Horn undercard. I think he fought another dude, and then Ray Beltran, and then he fought Lomachenko. So he had like 3 or 4 fights. So we're talking about a champion, a guy who just recently became a champion. That was his first title defense with Loma. See, this is what I'm saying. Top Rank, they do little stuff like this, and it looks real good, but you got to explore it. Like Jose Pedraza, right? He's a good fighter. He's slick. He's good. I give Lomachenko credit for beating him. However, people are like, oh, he just unified with the champion. You got to look at what he was, a champion that had never fought anybody to retain that belt. And his first fight, he's fighting Lomachenko. They didn't, like, put it this way. Here's what I'm saying. He just got that belt in August. August. So yes, he is a champion, but he got the belt in Arizona fighting Ray Beltran, who fought for a vacant title, and he just got the belt in August, and he fought Lomachenko just now, right? So yeah, he was a champ in that division for all but 2-3 months, you know, because he's in training camp, and then he fought and lost it. Similar to what they did with Triple G. Like, oh, this is unification, David Lemieux and Triple G. Yeah, but David Lemieux fought Hassan N'Dam also for a vacant title, and his first title defense was Golovkin. So this is what they do. The promoters and matchmakers, they can sell it as a championship fight because it is a championship fight because they put on the unification. So they say, hey, Lomachenko's going to unify because this is the guy that they're really trying to market. So it is a unification. But what you don't realize is typically champions, as they have title defenses, if they can retain their title, that's where the true confidence grows. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, okay, Deontay Wilder, when he fought Stavern, he became a champion. His first title defense, he fought Eric Molina and he got rocked. He seemed to get better as he had more and more title defenses. So by the time he fought Luis Ortiz, that was probably his like 6th, 7th, maybe 8th title defense. You get what I'm saying? So he was as confident as he was going to be because he had been beating the Johan Duhaupas, you know, the Eric Molinas. He had been beating those guys, you know, Gerald Washington. So he was more prepared. But if he fought Bermane Stavern and then Luis Ortiz was a champion, and then his first fight after Stavern with his new title was a unification with Luis Ortiz, hypothetically, if Luis Ortiz had a belt, then guess what? Wilder might have lost that fight. Because part of being a champion is it's not about cherry picking, but you have to grow in confidence. And if you're immediately thrown into a tough fight, you might not have that, you know, you might not have that budding confidence. Can you guys hear what I'm saying? Because the chat just stopped. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Walters looked like he laid down for the bread and never came back. Real talk. See, we talk that real boxing talk over here. Listen, can you guys hear me? Damn, it's like chat just y'all sleep and shit. Anyway, the bottom line is the more title defenses you have and the more you build up, the more your confidence grows. Do you get what I'm saying? That is that simple. You know. So by the time you unify with the best, if you're granted, you know, a few title defenses or whatever, then you're usually cool. You know, it's no different than like Tyson Fury came back from a long layoff. If he got hurt that bad off of Wilder, if his first fight back was Wilder, you know, Wilder probably would have stretched him. But he needed some rounds in the form of a tune-up to, you know, 2 training camps to at least get in shape to be ready for Wilder. Do you get what I'm saying? But had they thrown Fury in it, he almost, you know, got his soul snatched in the 12th round. You get what I'm saying? So imagine if he just came back from that long break, that would be kind of the equivalent. If he came back from the long break and went immediately into a Wilder fight, the fight was already close. So that would put him at a disadvantage because Wilder has been super active. You know, these matchmakers, they do little stuff like that. So Pedraza, that was a unification. But guess what? Pedraza hadn't proven outside of getting the title from Ray Beltran that, you know, he could keep it. For example, here's a Pedraza versus if Pedraza, let's say he didn't fight Lomachenko. Let's say Pedraza fought Mikey Garcia. Who would win? Be honest. Please be honest. If you had to take a guess, so say, let's scratch the Lomachenko fight that just happened. If Jose Pedraza fought Ray Beltran, and then his very next fight, he fought Mikey Garcia, who would win? Cinnamon says Mikey easy. Mikey. Be honest. I want to hear your honest take. Look, everybody's saying Mikey. And I agree 1,000%. If Jose Pedraza fought Ray Beltran, got the title, and then his very next fight was Mikey, you know, even if he had a couple fights in between, I would still pick Mikey. But, you know, that's beside the point. Just for this example, if he fought Ray Beltran and his very next fight, he fought Mikey Garcia, I would easily pick Mikey Garcia. And I think Mikey would probably knock him out. But seeing how Jose Pedraza is a top-ranked fighter, they kept it in-house. Ray Beltran's a top-ranked fighter, so they made that Arizona card, right? And then the guy that they really want to, you know, to get the credit, they matched him with Pedraza. So, you know, this boxing game is more than meets the eye, you know, because let's say Mikey wasn't going up to fight Errol Spence, and he didn't get stripped of his title that he won beating Robert Easter. Then Mikey would have 3 belts, but it would take for Top Rank to put their newfound Jose Pedraza in there with Mikey. But instead, you know, obviously they wanted to feed him to Lomachenko, and he, you know, did his thing and made it, you know, a pretty difficult fight. Pretty much, here's another thing. You know, Lomachenko made them excuses on the Sirius XM. Mikey's face wouldn't look like that. I highly doubt Mikey's face would look like busted up if he fought Jose Pedraza. Like, I would bet serious money, and I would bet serious money on Mikey to beat Jose Pedraza. But again, styles make fights. Mikey is hitting too hard at lightweight, so Pedraza is not going to. He wasn't, and you know what see, I could go deep on this boxing shit, but y'all, like I said, the more I go, the more y'all say I'm hating. You know what the crazy thing about Lomachenko, why I feel like if he fights the adequate puncher with the right seasoning and tools, and, you know, is not someone who's going to just quit and, you know, first sign of trouble, give up, I think he's going to have some issues. Here's why. Jose Pedraza did well, but I thought he was doing pretty well defensively, but he wasn't like overly offensive. This is the problem. This is the second Lomachenko fight in recent memory where I can remember Lomachenko's face being pretty tattered up. And from watching the fight, the opponent landed maybe some good shots, but they didn't land like from what I can remember, they weren't just getting going crazy. Like, you know, there was no Wilder Tyson Fury 12th round shit, nothing like that. And Lomachenko's face looks marked the fuck up. Miguel Madriaga and Jose Pedraza, you know, that rhymes too. Those two fights, Lomachenko's face looked pretty tattered up. Exhibit A. This is after Pedraza. So the thing that worries me for Lomachenko is this. Miguel Madriaga was coming off of a loss to Oscar Valdez. Facts. See, this is another thing Top Rank does. You know, they put Lomachenko in a California fight with Miguel Madriaga, coming off of an Oscar Valdez loss, and he was moving up in weight. This is all fact. So this is what I'm saying. It's like Lomachenko looks good. You know, oh shit, he just stopped Miguel Madriaga. This is part of the no Masenchenko shit. You know? But if you do the math, you see that Miguel Madriaga was coming off of a loss to another guy, Oscar Valdez, at 126, and then he moves up and fights Loma at 130. You know, so just like Golovkin and Vanes. Vanes Martirosyan was coming off a loss to Erislandy Lara, plus moving up. You know, you see how they don't, black fighters, they can fight somebody who's like Terrence Crawford fought Jose Benavidez, who's undefeated, who actually had some tune-ups. Even this year, he fought in Texas when they had that confrontation. Focus on your fight before you don't make it to the fight. They still made excuses for why Terrence Crawford won. They still made excuses. But Lomachenko fought a guy moving up in weight, coming off of a loss, and he's revered as pound for pound #1 for doing it. Same thing with Golovkin. ESPN and stuff tells you Golovkin's #1 pound for pound. You know, Canelo fails a drug test. Vanes Martirosyan's coming off a lot of loss, plus moving up in weight. Everything's stacked against him. He got the fight on 2-3 weeks notice, and Golovkin is like, oh, he knocked him out, sensational. But then Terrence Crawford knocked out an undefeated Jose Benavidez, an undefeated Jeff Hearn, who has a win over Pacquiao, and they say, oh, I'm not really impressed. Look at Crawford's resume. Who has he beat? You know? What? Kell Brook loses to Errol Spence, and his only loss wasn't at welterweight. It was at 160. He came back down to welterweight. Errol Spence beats him, you know, breaks his orbital. They like, oh, Triple G beat him first. I'm not going to give him credit. But you give Lomachenko credit for beating a guy moving up. Kell Brook was moving back down where he's big and where he was undefeated and where he was still a champion. But you don't give Errol Spence credit. You don't give Crawford credit for beating Benavidez, who was bigger than him, who was clearly talking the talk and pushing him and saying, eat some chicken, boy, and all this shit, right? So he was confident before the fight. You know, he comes from a fight family. He has an amateur career. He's bigger than Crawford. They made excuses. Oh, his kneecap, or he got shot years before. But he has also had some activity and bigger than Crawford, and he was saying he was going to come to Omaha and destroy Crawford, right? But Lomachenko, you know, this is why people say the great white hype thing. You know, Lomachenko could fight Miguel Marriaga coming off of an L and moving up. Jose Benavidez wasn't moving up at that point, you know, and he was big for the weight. But, you know, Crawford doesn't get credit for his welterweight fights. You see how the game goes? Come on, man. Anyway, the thing that's concerning about Vasily Lomachenko is this. When I'm looking at the Miguel Marriaga fight and Jose Pedraza, they did good. Like, Pedraza did good. He was crafty, upper body movement. He was landing some shots, especially like in the 10th round. And Lomachenko's face looked pretty beat up. But I don't feel like, you know, outside of the 10th round, I don't feel like Pedraza was like destroying Lomachenko offensively. Like, he was landing some good body shots, but Loma's face was marked up. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think his style is like, you know, a lot of movement, and his defense is not what people say it is. And that offensive, aggressive, lot of movement stuff. If he's in there with the formidable puncher, it's going to be real life interesting. This ain't no headgear. This ain't the amateurs. You can have 400 amateur wins, but he was fighting at a time with headgear. That's what, you don't have no headgear now. You know what I'm saying? You got them little ass gloves on and shit. Them 8s and, you know, different ball game. But the crazy thing, the thing that worries me about Loma is like, I don't remember Jose Pedraza, like, it wasn't looking like no Mike Tyson shit that he was doing. And Loma's face still looked like, you know, at the end of the day, looked like this. Loma, and a lot of Pedraza, what he was doing well was keeping up, defensive, good, very good body work. And then he did real good in the 10th round. And then Lomachenko's face still looks like pretty tattered up. So, you know, against a Teofimo Lopez type puncher, you know, against Mikey Garcia, Gervonta Tank Davis, these dudes hit hard. Like Loma, you know, and see, this is what I'm saying. Like, when fighters' aura starts to get stripped away and people see like vulnerabilities, that's when you become food more so. And for me, I just feel like Lomachenko, they're saying he's #1 pound for pound, but his style works for him. But I don't know how it's going to work against the top level punchers who go for broke. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's an in your face type of style. Key word, in your face, you know, key phrase, in your face. So that means he's there to be hit. So, you know, if somebody just really goes for broke and punches with him, I don't know. You know, I have to see it. You know, he's going to have to show me something that maybe I haven't seen. Because, see, the reason Floyd Mayweather beat bigger guys. See, now we just kick him sweet science shit. Smash the like button. Make sure y'all smash the like button. Floyd Mayweather, he's different. He could fight bigger guys. He could fight guys that are stronger because he's an overall fighter. Like his style encompasses, you know, if this was like a clipboard with a checklist, Floyd would have more check marks than most dudes. That's what makes Floyd gifted. You know, speed, check it. Ring IQ, obviously, double check. You know, respectable power, check it. Chin, check. He definitely got a chin. You know, experience, check. Foot speed, check. Defense, check. That's what makes Floyd. Lomachenko doesn't have that. Loma's good at what he does. But I really question, and I have to see it. That's why we want to see these good fights. If it's not going his way, does he have the grit? Like even like Canelo, when Canelo was walking down Triple G, if Canelo and Lomachenko were in the same division, I would favor Canelo. Look at Canelo's style. Canelo has like an American style mixed with like a Mexican style. You know what I'm saying? Like he does what Mexican fighters have historically been, you know, known to do well or stereotypically do well, like the inside work, the body work. But then he also has a level of slickness and defense and, you know, head movement and stuff like that. So if Loma was in the same division or the same size as Canelo, I would easily favor Canelo. And I really want to know what Lomachenko, and the only way to find out is to see these fights. That's why we want to see it, you know. But Canelo, he gives you different look. Like, look at how he fought Golovkin. Canelo fought Golovkin backing up and arguably won to some people. At best, he got a draw. That's what, you know, what it was ruled at. Comes back in the rematch. He does the exact opposite of what he did in the first fight. Every single Lomachenko fight out of his 13 fights all look the same. So I just feel like people have been chipping away at that. Name one fight where Lomachenko was just flat-footed and you know, and he was just like inside banging with somebody. So that's what I'm saying. If a guy brings that out, like, you know, destroys his body to the point where he can't move as much because his legs are tired, what I don't know. I gotta see it. I really have to see it. That's not hate. That's just the honest criticism. I really have to see what he does. Because I watched Tyson Fury. No, actually, it was a Frank Warren interview. Frank Warren said here's an example for y'all. Frank Warren said he talked to Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury said he was on the ground. He couldn't feel his legs. Wilder hit him so fucking hard that a 6'10" big ass behemoth man could not feel his legs. So if he would have got dropped by Mikey Garcia, for example, and got up, let's say he had the chin and the conditioning to get up, what are you gonna do the rest of the fight if your legs are like tingling? Because, like I said, Lomachenko's style, his style is a lot of movement. Upper, you know, moving his hands and feinting and, you know, dictating. So if someone takes you out of that element of you being able to dictate or you being able to use like as much foot speed, I don't know how he would fight. You know, I don't think Lomachenko could fight backing up. And I don't think he can fight on the inside. Just like Golovkin. Golovkin was destroying people's body until he started fighting upper echelon competition. Then you seen that body work evaporate, and then he start jabbing. And then when Canelo was backing him up, he looked the worst he's looked in his career that I've seen, you know, when Canelo was backing him up for most of the first 8 rounds. Ego, do you think Tank would take the fight? You know, I don't know. I have to see it. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know what Lomachenko could do in these situations, but Tank definitely has a shot. I can't say, you know, I still got to learn some things about Tank too. You know, Loma only has 13 fights. I would just pay to see it. I don't know. I really think it's like a 50-50 fight. You know, Lomachenko, he can frustrate you. He could befuddle you and, you know, use his experience. And if things are going his way, like I said, he's a front runner. If things are going his way, then it's hard to get him out of that rhythm. But if Tank can connect, then that, you know, that's a whole different ball game. Because Tank has the explosive type of power you must respect. And I know that from several sources. So Tank definitely has a shot. But, you know, Lomachenko, he's only lost once. So we have to see. You know, he has more fights when you add his amateur and pro. So, you know, it's a good fight. Let's see it. A chain is out of pocket. Notice how the Loma lovers disregard the Salido loss. That's white privilege. They're basically erased the loss to Salido. See, and this is what they do to black fighters. They'll just give you the loss. If they'll say Andre Ward, you know, in my mind, he lost to Kovalev. This is what people do. Because you wanted him to lose, or you think he lost, even though the judges didn't agree with you and it was close, they'll just force you to say he lost, you know. Or because you personally gave every round except for 2 to Tyson Fury, then he lost to yours. But then Salido actually beat, on, you know, according to the judges too, in a close fight, he actually beat Lomachenko, and then you don't count that. You see, they just pick and choose. These dudes just pick and choose. They pick and choose what they want to honor. That's like you don't want to honor a coupon that hasn't expired, but then a coupon that has expired for somebody else, you're like, oh yeah, I'll take that coupon. How's that work? My coupon says it's good until February 2019. You don't accept that. And then this person walked up with a coupon that expired in August, and you accept that. You know, they pick and choose. They pick and choose what they want to acknowledge. Lomachenko was a grown man fighting kids for his second gold medal. LOL. Yeah, that's part of the amateur game too. You know, Lomachenko's 30. He's 30, I think. You know. But yeah, Tank, Mikey Garcia, they're definitely in the fight with Lomachenko for sure. You know, for sure. Because like I said, his face was pretty beat up, and you know, I don't remember Jose Pedraza just being all the way successful offensively like some offensive fighters, you know. Listen, I swear to y'all, Lomachenko at 140, I think he would have issues with Ruslan Provodnikov. I really do. Because Ruslan's a tank, and he can, you know, just keep coming no matter what you're throwing at him, you know. And he's not really, from what I've seen, he wasn't really a quitter. You know, any style like that, like Costa Zoo, Zab Judah, I think those guys will give Loma problems too. Zab Judah's quick as fuck. Zab Judah has one of the most underrated uppercuts. Lomachenko with that jumping in shit, jumping into a southpaw uppercut. You know, Sugar Shane Mosley. That's why it doesn't make sense that like, if something is good, just, you know, let it unfold. But it's like they take certain fighters and they want to oversell it to you. You know, let's just see. That's all I'm asking. Let's just see, or at least spread the love. You know, and the other good fighters that we know to be good fighters with more fights and stuff, you know, put them on the list too. You know, give them credit. Don't look like you just want to put them on a pound for pound list because you have to, like Floyd. These motherfuckers don't want to put Floyd on the list. They knew they had to because they would look crazy. The list would look crazy if they try to say Floyd wasn't on it, You know what I'm saying? Ruslan retired. I think Marcos Maidana, you know, would have gave Loma problems. He's just awkward. And he's going to go for his. And he don't care about looking pretty and cute and shit. So we'll see. You know, we'll see what pans out for Lomachenko. But, you know, we'll see who he fights next, too. I want to see that. You know, people making it like I'm saying something that's crazy. Like, yo, you're a hater. You're full of shit. How am I hating and you agreed that Lomachenko didn't look his best? Where's that? What did I hate on then? If you agreed with me. These dudes are emotional. That's why we killing the game, new media. They got Loma more hyped up than young Sugar Ray Leonard. Facts. We'll see. They hyped up Chocolatito too. And Golovkin. You know, and they never hyped up Andre Ward. Never hyped up Floyd Mayweather. Never gave the same hype to Terrence Crawford. Or Errol Spence. They say he gets hit too much. And see, this how I know boxing has race involved in it and emotion and a bunch of shit that has to do with that blocks people's judgment. I really hear people always talk about how Errol Spence gets hit too much, but Errol Spence's face don't. And I know how scar tissue works, and some people have tender face and all, you know, but Errol Spence's face never looks like Lomachenko's. You know, after some Lomachenko fight, ever. I've never seen Errol Spence's face look like this against the top level guys he fought. Kell Brook is a nice sized puncher. He's a big welterweight, and he never looked like this. You know, I doubt that, you know, Errol Spence has this like tough Texas gator skin, you know, like where nothing can bruise him. But he's obviously not getting hit as much as y'all think. You know, or other than that, he is like this fucking Venom symbiote suit or some shit type of skin. But they always say stuff like, oh, Errol Spence, he shouldn't fight this guy because he gets hit too much. Terrence Crawford gets hit. Terrence Crawford don't look like that at the end of the fight. Man, Terrence Crawford, I was at the Jeff Hearn fight. He looked like he was about to go to the club afterwards. Didn't even look like he fought. Looked like he played a game of basketball. Had a little bit of sweat glisten. That was it. And Loma he had previously said he wanted to fight Crawford. You don't hear him saying that anymore. I think the reality is setting in. You know, Loma, see, the other thing is Lomachenko, I think his personality seems a bit arrogant. Like, he's competitive, but he's also like, it's like a bit almost narcissistic and arrogant about it, like an arrogant air to it, you know, and that could be costly because you got to be realistic. He was calling out Crawford. I don't hear him calling out Crawford no more. Crawford will beat the skin off Loma. Hey, you tripping? Why is he not talking about Crawford anymore? Why is he saying Pacquiao's too old now? Do you get what I'm saying? Kovalev earned everyone's respect by fighting the best, and he's a racist, unlike Golovkin. Kovalev could scrap, for sure. And he did fight. You know, he beat Bernard Hopkins bad. Jean Pascal twice. You know, Nathan Cleverly. Ishmael Salat. You said Bob Arum told him to stop. Somebody told him to stop because he hasn't been saying that. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm telling you, reality sets in. Moving up in weight, that's a challenge. See, I think Lomachenko's super ambitious. That's good, but you know, you also have to be reasonable. You should have never called out Crawford. You know, because if Crawford fought Lomachenko, you know people wouldn't give him credit. They'd be like, no, that's bullshit. You know, we already know what happened. This man just fought. Jeff Hearn just fought at like middleweight, you know, against Anthony Mundine, and Crawford stopped him. So he was obviously a big welterweight because he just stopped somebody at middleweight or whatever. But you know how the racists do. They'll be mad as fuck at Crawford. He'd be public enemy #1 if he fought Lomachenko and beat him. But you know, it's like I said, it's crazy what a difference a year and a half or so makes. A year and a half ago, they were saying that Terrence Crawford would lose. I got the videos. They were saying Crawford would lose to Lomachenko. And then now they hush. This is what they got to do. They just got to shut the fuck up and be quiet now. Because they know they was talking just crazy. Manny Pacquiao will surely beat the shit out of Lomachenko. Ain't no doubt about it. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, man, I guess every fighter should just get blue eyes and fair skin or whatever, because that's the only time I've seen people be able to get away with certain things. He just told you on tape, I'm not fighting Pacquiao, and then gave like one of the most erroneous like type of answers as the reason. He said because Pacquiao's too old. But if you had a somewhat competitive fight with Pedraza, then you can't tell me that a Pacquiao fight is too easy for you, you know, or it's like Pacquiao, even old Pacquiao got work for people. You know what I'm saying? It's still gonna take a level of game planning, strategy, skill, power, or whatever to beat Pacquiao. So that's a cop out. That's all the way a cop out. That's a cop out. You can't tell me that Pacquiao looks that horrible versus Matisse, Jeff Hearn, any of them. He knocked down Jesse Vargas. Jesse Vargas is younger than Pacquiao. He still knocked him down and dominated him. He beat Bradley and sent him in retirement. He just destroyed Matisse. You cannot tell me that Pacquiao is so far gone where Lomachenko and Pacquiao doesn't make sense. But all Lomachenko has to do is say, hey, I'm not fighting him. He too old. And then we just supposed to like, oh, okay. Hey guys, he's not going to fight him. He's too old. Nobody else in boxing does that. Pacquiao didn't do that, say De La Hoya is too old. He beat the shit out of De La Hoya and proved that De La Hoya was, you know, too old or was done, you know, should consider retirement. That's what happens in boxing. But, you know, Lomachenko just gets the get out of jail free card. All he has to do is just say, hey, too old. I'm not fighting you. Why should I just beat up on an old legend? All right. That's crazy to me. Pacquiao is still formidable. And I think Pacquiao can make 140 for sure. If Pacquiao fought Lomachenko 140, I'm picking Pacquiao for sure. But I would like to see it just because I don't know. I could be wrong, you know. So it's not just like I want to see Lomachenko lose. He already has a loss. If I want to see that, I'll just watch the Salido fight. But I want to see, you know, I don't know. Maybe, you know, he's talking about it. He made it sound in the interview, he made it sound like he'll beat Pacquiao's ass. Ego, I really hope your platform continues to grow. People need to get this new media. I've learned so much for you. I appreciate it, man. We will to continue to grow because the people, you know, I'm the people's champ and they holding me down. You know, it don't really matter. You know, all we have to do is keep doing what we're doing, be honest, respect the game. You know, I respect all these fighters. You don't ever hear me like, you know, I'm not calling Lomachenko out his name and, you know, motherfucker, you know, Phil Florin and Phil. I'm not doing that. I'm just telling you what I see as a boxing fan and somebody who analyzes the sport, you know, and that's my right as a man. And I've earned my rights and stripes in this game to be able to do that, you know. Listen, I'll work with any of these guys. Like, you know, they might, if they don't want to work with me, that's their issue. But, you know, like I said this before, if somebody's offended, you need to be worried about the people who talk shit behind your back, because there's a lot of people that do it, especially if you take a L. Me, I'm telling on camera, on wax, so you see my face, what I feel and, you know, what things people, I think they can improve upon and stuff like that, you know. There's nothing personal. It's always business. So, you know, if somebody's angry at it, and then, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, because when these trainers and fighters, when they state their opinion, we just got to accept it, but then I can't have no opinion. You know, that's not going to ever happen for me. You know, you know, you can't tell me that Lomachenko can say, hey, I'm not fighting Pacquiao, he's too old, and then I can't react to it. I can't give my 2 cents about it, you know, but he can just say whatever he wants. No, that don't work like that. Pacquiao is a difficult fight for Loma, for sure. If Pedraza and Linares were any level of a threat or challenge, Pacquiao is. You know, Pacquiao, I heard, used to dog Lenatus in sparring. You know, ask Freddie Roach. Anyway, I'm out. The Vampire Stream. Peace out. Thank you guys for the support. We work.